Good evening, hello, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports for today's Wednesday night live. Welcome, welcome. Get in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. We are halfway through the week, so it's hump day, as some would say. I apologize for being a little bit late. We're supposed to go live at 9, and unfortunately got stuck a little bit late from the gym, and then went to have to go get food and stuff like that for dinner and everything like that, and it all took a little bit long. Yes, breaking news, Steve does occasionally go to the gym. You might not be able to tell, but every now and again, it does happen. It's like somebody not complaining about the box. Majority of the time it doesn't happen, but every now and again, you have those special occasions where it does. But we've got quite a few things to talk about tonight, and mainly the main sort of thing for the next sort of 45 minutes is Dwayne VERMEULEN and the fact that we released the press conference that he gave yesterday, this morning, and we're speaking about his potential future with the Box. We're also going to be looking ahead at the weekend. This is our last show before the weekend, because we won't be live tomorrow night. So we're talking about some of the fixtures, some of the things to look forward to in the weekend, some of the stories in and around this weekend, as well as what our content plan is for the next couple of days. So settle in, jump in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know what if you watched the Dwayne VERMEULEN press conference, stuff like that. The sort of the question we're asking, and I'm going to chuck a poll in the comments now, is can Dwayne VERMEULEN be part? Will Dwayne? Well, yeah, I suppose can Dwayne VERMEULEN play in the 2023 Rugby World Cup? I'm not that he's going to play in the cricket one, for example, but let's just use the official name, shall we? So yes, that's the poll in the chat. So go and vote. Let me know what you think. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what he had to say, as well as what the practicalities are of and some of the risks maybe with trying to back him and play him until 2023 World Cup, because there are sort of significant potential risks if he wants to play and if he's planning on playing that long. There are certain risks about it. We've also been talking about the Sigma Lions, who officially announced their coaching staff for the United Rugby Championship. We're going to be talking about some Lionel Cornea and Kieran Bosch. And Lionel Cornea giving an interview that was quite interesting today. So we've got quite a few things to talk about. If there's anything else you want to talk about, then chuck them in the comments as well, and we can sort of visit that and stuff like that. I'm not going to talk about Steve Hansen again. I think I talked about him enough last night. So I don't think I'm feeling in a decent mood, so I'm not sure we'll see the the rant of the day from me. But you never know. You never know. I'll talk about the Lions, so maybe there might be something that comes up a little bit later. You never know. But yeah, let's see who's in the chat. Who's hanging out here. So good evening, Ruan. Good evening, Simon Swart. Good evening, Cheslin. Good evening, Hooper. Hope you guys are all very, very well. I'm seeing something about Sexton reacting to his lion snub, so we'll check out, see what that was all about. But let's start with the Springboks, shall we? And talk about Dwayne VERMEULEN, really, and the fact that he was asked basically. I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it, Jamie? You what? I think he's 30. Let me not get this wrong. I think he's 35 or 36. I think he just turned. So he's just turned 35. Okay, so he'll be 37 at the next World Cup. That is the reality. So that's how old Wayne will be at the next World Cup. 2023, he will be 27. And so at 35 years old, he got asked the sort of question that you get asked at that age, and that is, so Chief, when are we hanging up the boots? What's going on? A bit of grey hairs are coming through there, mate. Not quite sure you're hitting that 100-meter speed that you used to. At 35 years old, what's the plan here? What's the plan? And to be honest, I mean, I'll try and find the exact quote here now. The entire thing is on the channel if you want to go and watch it out. But this was his response. Where is it? So he says, and I quote, this is what Dwayne had to say yesterday. He said, "You'll keep on pushing as long as you can until you can't keep up anymore." He insisted. That is the biggest thing I've learned. I've spoken to Jacques before and said, "Listen, I'll try and give my best and play my part in the squad. If he sees that I'm not putting my weight, or I'm lacking in any way, or I can't keep up with the pace of the game, they need to sit down and speak to me about it and say, maybe your time has come and gone. Now I'm still pushing and trying to my best to play alongside my teammates and try to represent the country as best I can. Looking forward to the next couple of challenges that lie ahead. And if that pushes you to another World Cup, then so be it. I'm looking forward to that." So he's basically the big thing. Look, he's not said that he will play in the next World Cup, but he has not ruled it out. He has not said, "Listen, I'm coming down to the twilight of my career. I will not be there in 2 years' time." So he's left the door open, which is fair enough. I mean, fair enough. I think that had he played the British and Irish Lions series, I think he was. You can obviously he was very disappointed having missed it. And I think if he had played the British and Irish Lions series, I think he probably would have looked at moving on. I think, he would have probably felt Rugby World Cup tick, Rugby Championship tick, British and Irish Lions tick. I'm 35 years old. Let's start thinking about this, Dwayne. But I think he sort of feels that he's still got something to achieve. He kind of missed that success. So whether it's a case of trying to get to the next World Cup, or if he just thinks he wants to get another year in or so, it's a very, very strange predicament for Jacques Nienaber and the coaching staff to be in, because a fit and firing Dwayne Vermeulen is the best number 8 in the world. But how long will this Dwayne Vermeulen be fit, and how long will he fire? And if he doesn't, and what are the sort of the telltale signs, and when do you make that call? Because the problem is, chances are he'll play 3 or 4 games in the Rugby Championship. I reckon he probably will try and play at least one of the Australian games, and if he's fit and looking good, he'll play the New Zealand games. And knowing Dwayne Vermeulen, he'll probably play very well. And you'll sit there thinking, you know what, this guy can play for another 2 years. Here's where the problem comes. You then play him next year, and mid-year he's looking all right. Maybe not the best series, but nothing to worry about just yet. End of the year, you're thinking, "Ooh, is he playing as well as he could be? Is he starting to slow down a little bit?" And the worst thing that could possibly happen is for us to have sort of bank on him being there in 2 years' time, and then at the end of next year or the beginning of 2023, in like the URC or something, then he's not playing as well as he needs to. He's not hitting the standards that he needs to at Springbok level. And you now think, well, we'd have to now bring somebody else in. He's not playing well enough. There are better performers out there, or they're younger. It's not quite good enough. And the problem then comes in, have we got the depth? Have we been able to bring somebody in who is settled enough to be the Springboks number 8 at the 2023 World Cup when we go to France and we try and defend our title? That is the issue. The issue is it's not, it's so much bigger than can Dwayne Vermeulen play for 2 years, because unfortunately you have to kind of sort of make that, not necessarily now, but we've probably got at a push 12 tests next year. We've got 7 tests remaining. So we've got 19 tests until 2023. In 2023, we'll probably have 3 tests mid-year and probably 3 tests. We use our shortened Rugby Championship. So call it maybe 9 tests. So we're probably about 27 tests away from the 2023 World Cup. Around about. If it all goes well, we're about 27, 28, whatever sort of test away. Now, I would like my starting number 8 to go into the World Cup with 20 to 25 tests under his belt, looking good, settled. I would like my reserve number 8, and our squad player who's going to be that thing, to try and have 15 to 20 tests. Ideally. Look, some players are special enough and good enough where they can rise to the occasion and they can do things with very few tests. But I just think, when you walk into a World Cup and you've got that experience, and you can still, and that's why it's nice to blood young players quite early. It's at the end of the day, a player with 20 tests is better than a player with 0 tests. That specific player. Eluat Diago after 20 tests is a better player than Eluat Diago after his first test, because you improve, you learn, you understand the test match rugby. So I'm not saying that you can't pick the person with fewer tests because the person with 20 tests is always going to be better. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that as a player, you only get better the more tests you play, the more experience you get. And I don't want to see us in a situation where we're suddenly going to the Rugby World Cup thinking, sure, we've backed Dwayne a lot and he's not made it. And we've now got players who have got 8 or 9 tests and have sort of been in the fringes, kind of not started, and haven't played. Some of the players haven't played in certain conditions. And all of a sudden we're sort of a bit stuck and thinking, well, that may be a bit of a hole. Especially considering that Pieter-Steph du Toit does not have the best injury record. And I mean, he's not old as Pieter-Steph du Toit. I think he's about 28, 29. I don't want to lie to you. So Pieter-Steph du Toit is 29 years old. He's just turned 29, so he'll be 31. So he'll be absolutely fine for the next World Cup. But he does have a bad injury record. Seglisi is not particularly young. I think he's about 30, so he'll make the next World Cup. There's no issues about that. It probably will be his last one. He's 30 this year. So the last thing we need is to go into 2023 and all of a sudden Dwayne Vermeulen's not fit, or he's retired or whatever. But and then Pete Toy gets injured, and suddenly you go into a World Cup with, and it's not so much the starters, but maybe you don't have experience with the depth and stuff like that. So I mean, we're overthinking it slightly, and obviously things can change, but that is what we have to think about, in terms of Dwayne Vermeulen. And I don't think that if he retires or if he stops playing this, that means he has to, he doesn't have to stop playing tomorrow and that's it, you're out of the Springbok squad. I think he's got a big role to play. I think he's one of those players. I think there are certain players that I think know the game, read the game, and understand the game very well that are very useful to have around the squad. Either in terms of your mentality, in terms of the way that you could sort of mentor young players, or else literally the way that you read the game. And I think that people like, in the past, Schalk Brits, we saw what Schalk Brits did during the 2019 World Cup. People like, Farid Priya, people like Morne Steyn, people like an Alton Yankees, for example, who's got quite a big role within the squad, training-wise, not necessarily playing-wise. Those players are quite important, even with not necessarily their on-field impact. Someone like Louis Diago, who was sort of kept around the squad even when he was injured because he had sort of stuff to pass on to the locks who didn't have as much experience. So we start having to make quite a big decision in terms of we probably have to sort of play Dwayne Vermeulen in conjunction with blooding a Jasper Wiese, Brian Mbackham, and a Kwagga Smith, because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. If you want Evan Lewis to be potentially part of the Box Squad 2023, he needs to go on the end of year tour. If you want Pepsi Buthelezi to be in there, he needs to be on the end of year tour. Start bringing these players in to the setup. And this is why I think after the Rugby Championship, I don't want to see Reinhard Elstad there. I don't want to see Marvin Ori there. I don't want to see Frans Steyn there. I don't want to see Morne Steyn there. I think that those are sort of 5 or 6 players which can make room. We do go down to a smaller squad, which doesn't help. In theory, in normal times, you'll go down to about a 36-man squad. So there's more players that you have to look at. But I'd like to see more sort of players for the future start being implemented, start being aligned, so they can come in and they can do a job, and they don't have to worry about injury crisis. Vincent Tuka's making his debut in the World Cup. You don't want to be in that situation. And look, sometimes it can work. As I said, sometimes players can rise to the occasion, but you don't want to be in that situation where there's that, oh, is he going to do it? Is he not? So in terms of the comments, David says, Steve, are you going to do a URC player transfer? Yeah, we will. So we'll start doing the URC starts in about 3 weeks. So I reckon, next week we're going to focus on the Rugby Championship. We'll finish the Currie Cup. And then the week of the 12th, 13th, reading into the URC, we'll wrap up the Currie Cup, and then we'll start building towards the URC. So we'll do transfer videos. I want to do a profile of every single team so that we know who is who in the zoo, what their players have got, what their squad, who their management is, and stuff like that. It's much a learning exercise for me, as it will hopefully be informative for you, so that we understand what the teams are like going to the United Rugby Championships. We've got quite a lot of plans in terms of the pre-stuff, is what we'll look at, who's gone where, coaching staff, stadium capacity, and just sort of start learning a little bit more about that sort of opposition. So we will start doing that close to the time. We'll be doing a whole series on that. Tevin Berg says that Jim Day keeps the Hansen away. I wish. Dwayne's giggle when asked that question is clear. I think he is thinking about it. I genuinely think he's thinking, look, if I can get through next year, why not? What's another year? Point out looks like Eddie Jones and the Sky says Dwayne should retire. Louis Vetch said they should play Dwayne at 7 and Wiese on 8 this year. Look, there's an option to do that. Try and play both. But to be fair, I think you'd find a hard time dropping Franco Mostert and a hard time dropping Louis Diago or Ebenezer to the bench. And I know you want to have an impact player, you sort of do a bomb squad, but I think those 3 players are playing some pretty tremendous rugby. So I wouldn't be surprised if you go Franco Mostert in the 7. But like, for example, Australia next weekend, you could do that. Zawi Kruger says he should rather become a coach. I think he will become a coach eventually. I reckon he'll probably take a bit of time off when he finishes. But I think, players like him, like a Warren Whiteley, there are certain players who I think will go into coaching. I think Morne Steyn will probably go into coaching or kicking coach and stuff like that. Jason says we shouldn't rule that out since he is such an instrumental part of the system now in terms of inspiration and motivation. Hooper says at minimum he will be the ultimate mentor for the likes of Jasper Wiese, whom they're definitely looking to develop, but 2 years isn't that far away, so keen to see how Thor goes in the Rugby Championship. David says think Dwayne will play a similar role to Schalk Brits. Katena says, but bulk pack all the way in Chair, Benambi, Malherbe, Etzbeth, Diaga, Khaleesi, Vermeulen, Visa. And Bonnie says, I think let's blood someone like Jasper Visa to replace Dwayne. Dwayne can have a similar role to Scalp Brits in 2019. Cheston says, why not then make him part of a bomb squad with P-Steps toy and starting the guys that might be the future? Well, look, that's also an option. You could sort of start phasing people like that. Instead of phasing people off the bench, you phase them, you start them and bring them off after 60 minutes. Good evening, Kate Dixon. I'm very well, thank you. Hope you're well as well. Had a good start to the week. Well, I suppose we're midweek already. It doesn't feel like a Wednesday. Louis Vetch is 15 man, more than 30 caps and 19 newish players. Yeah, you sort of need that experience. I think we're very, very well positioned at the moment. Hello, Stephen, thoughts on the Lions coaching group? Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the fact that they have finally confirmed their coaching staff, and I'm interested to see what they are going to do with the current coaches and behind the setup, something like a Sean Erasmus. What his future is going to be at the club. If there is, I mean, has he been sacked? Has he been given his marching orders? There's still a lot of ambiguity around the Lions at the moment. Ed Barning also says, Lions fans, I think we can agree that Charlie should leave. Lions franchise needs an overhaul. Yeah, I'm with you there. And Liam Wolf says, Dwayne is the key person in organising the defence. I think we need Dwayne starting, even if he isn't on perfect form. Well, Dwayne also talked about the fact that, he was really pushing to try and come back during the Lions series. And he said to Jacques, apparently, that at a stage, listen, you can't play me. I'm not up to scratch. I'm not ready. I'm not physically feeding. I can go into the field. So if you play me, I will drop the ball. I will let the team down because I'm not at full fitness. So I think the nice thing is that he's somebody he does sort of recognize his limits. He does understand, his, he understands himself quite well. I think you do when you get to that sort of age. You understand your body. You know when you can, when you can't. When you've emptied the tank, when you've not emptied the tank. And I think the more you play with coaching staff, I mean, that's what Sia Khaleesi says. Sia Khaleesi says a couple of weeks ago, he said, I will play and the coaches will know. Coaches have got small things to look out. They'll know if I'm getting tired, and small things will start appearing again, and they know, cool, he's drained, take him off. And the more the coaches play with these players, the more they'll understand that, when certain things start changing, they can go, right, that means that person's a bit tired, or that person may not having your best day, and sort of adapt there. So it's very important that we're growing as a group of players. And it's fun to think that it does feel like we're growing, doesn't it? It doesn't feel like this is an established side yet. I mean, it does to a certain degree, but I think there's still so much we think that the squad can do. And they've won a World Cup, they won a Rugby Championship, but because the turnaround was so quick in terms of going from such a poor side to such a decent side and winning the World Cup, the World Cup didn't feel like a conclusion. It didn't feel like the end of a story. It was almost like starting the story with a bang. You really felt like, boom, we've done it. But this is the start of something. Whereas you've had eras where you sort of it builds. I mean, like the All Blacks. 2015, well, even probably the Lions here, but 2015 in particular sort of felt like an end of an era. Certain players stepping away and stuff like that. It was sort of a changing of the guard. Whereas that wasn't really the case for it. We didn't have a lot of... something like Lakanya, he's got less than 20 tests. Ches and Colby, Marcus Oloma Pimpy, they've got less than 20 tests. Franco Mostert, I think is about 30 or 40. Not masses. And Malcolm Marks, Bongi Manambi, they're sort of in the 20s. So they're not hugely established. We only got about 4 or 5 players, about 50 caps. So I think it shows you that we've got, and we talk about players who might retire. Billy LaRue's a name that gets thrown around, and then Dwayne Vermeulen. They're not that many old players. So I do think we're sort of at the dawn to sort of, and that's why there's so much excitement, because it's about what can this team do. That's why there's genuine conversations. Can this team go back-to-back World Cups? Because it felt like we were building something. We're now 2 years into this journey, or 2 or 3 years into this journey. We've done the next thing. Now it's like, can you go to that next World Cup? Can you add another rugby championship? Can you just keep sort of picking up the silverware and sort of start establishing yourself as one of the best Springbok sides of all time? That is the journey we're on. They've definitely right now, they have done as much as any other Springbok squad in history. With the Rugby Championship, with the Lions Tour, with the World Cup, they've done as much as any other rugby as Springbok squad in the history of the game, especially in the modern game. So they keep adding to that. By the time that some players will move on, some players won't, but there will be a changing of the guard. There will be a time when Evan Etzebeth, Loa Diago, Franco Mostert, Sia Khaleesi, Dwayne Vermeulen, P-Step du Toit, they're all sort of similar, sort of late, sort of 30 or 29. There will be a time when that changes quite a lot. There will always sort of be that change. So the hope is when we have that sort of changing of the guard, we think back to this era and we think that that was the greatest Springbok side we've seen. And they could be. They genuinely can become that Springbok side. So Justin says, Stephen, do you know when the squad will be named? Well, the rugby championship squad's available. We posted that and stuff like that. In terms of the team for next weekend, I imagine it'll be named on Tuesday. They had to re-look the entire media schedule, so I've got no idea when next we'll have a media conference or something like that. But the team, I imagine, will be named on Tuesday. Sorry, as it has been over the last couple of months. So when it is, we'll obviously do a video, unless cheapest. The last press conference they had was in about 4 a.m. here. Now I'm not sure if you guys need me to do a video at 4 a.m. telling you what the bloody box squad is, but I'm hoping they'll do it a bit of a better time. Do it at 11 or midnight. I can do that. I can operate that. I can operate 1 or 2 a.m. I'm usually still up. 4:30 is a murky area for me. Western Province need Zalt Maria to leave. Western Province and the Lions, same WhatsApp group. Like, genuinely, you've got the two unions over there, and I mean the Sharks and the Bulls, they're just doing everything right. And then you've got the two other cousins sitting in the corner, like sniffing glue. They're hopeless, bloody hopeless. Liam Rolf says definitely so much potential left in the South African team. The squad has potential to be the greatest ever. What do you think about Evan Ruiz' injury? I haven't seen anything. Like, is there been confirmation of how long he's out for? Because I think he's a doubt from what I understand. Here we go. Then we'll make a call on star number 8 Evan Ruiz later in the week due to his dead leg. Okay, well that's not too serious. Look, I don't think this Western Province side are beating the Bulls. Even with Evan Ruiz, I don't think they are. But look, I didn't think they played particularly well last weekend, the Bulls. But I'll be very surprised if they get beaten. And look, Evan Ruiz would be a huge factor in there. But I think we will see a very strong Bull side name tomorrow. So we'll see Evan Ruiz. Well, we'll know tomorrow what the final story is. In terms of the team, because it is being announced tomorrow. I can tell you what time it is as well. Where are you? No, it's Edward van der Merwe. The team will be announced tomorrow at 1. So we'll have a preview out for the semi-final at about 4 or 5. I think, looking at my schedule. But the team will be announced tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So then we'll see. But I see that Salman Murat is back from training. I hope he doesn't play this weekend. I hope they give him a full couple of weeks and get him ready for URC, because I really rate Salman Murat, and I hope that we can get him back to pretty good fitness. I think he's a very, very good player. Yeah, I doesn't really see whether they'll play him or not, but I hope they won't. I think I must give him some time. So yeah, when that change happens, there should be people who can take over and good. Yeah, we've got lots of talent. We know that there's talent, in abundance across the country. It's just a matter of nurturing it and phasing it incorrectly, which we've been guilty of not doing in the past. And I'm hoping that with the setup we've currently got, we get it right, where we can bring the right players in at the right times. And I think that I'm very, very upset that Vincent Stuka is currently injured, because I think if he was fit, I don't see how you leave him behind in the end of year tour. I know Albert Lowe is playing well. I know Pexi Buthelezi is playing well. I know Evan Ruiz is playing well. I think, those three could all be in the end of the year tour. But they're all in their breakout seasons because they are so young. A year ago, we didn't know much about Albert Lowe. We didn't know much about Pepsi Buthelezi. We knew about Pepsi Buthelezi because he was the SN20 captain. We didn't know much about Evan Ruiz. So, it's so that they're playing fantastic rugby, but they are in their breakout season. So, they haven't really been tested yet against international opposition. They haven't really traveled and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to downplay what they've done. I'm just saying they're very early on in their careers, so they're in some fantastic form, but it's quite early. Whereas I think somebody like Vincent Tuka has been playing since 2019, Super Rugby, 2 Super Rugbies and a half. I think he's in his third Currie Cup campaign. So I think somebody like him, you would have walked into the. I mean, if you're asking, do you want to have Reinhard Alstad or Vincent Tuka in the box squad? There's a couple of other players as well. I think that if he was fit and playing really well, I'll be interested to see if Ambrose Pierre would be involved. JD Schickerling's now signed. I think he's signed for Japan. I saw he signed. Don't quote me on that. I saw that he has signed a contract somewhere. But I think he's somebody that could have been potentially in the box squad towards the end of the year. So there are a couple of players who I think are probably more ready. Something like Carly starting from the Lions, or like a Lizo Boka if they want to put him back in the squad. Who I would have liked to have seen at the end of the year tour. So we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, where we? Tiamanberg says the logical part of my brain knows we need to decide on a second choice A to commit. The emotional part desperately wants to see Alwick, Pepsi, Burley, and Russ in one team. Could you imagine that side? My goodness. Well, look, Alwick Lowe is quite versatile. Evan Russ, I think, is an out and out number 8 and has the most sort of Dwayne Vermeulen in him in terms of just being so big and physical and going on a storming runs. I think Pepsi Buthelezi is a very special player. I think that he's a fantastic leader. I think he's very mature. He's got a very he's more in the mold of a Siko Mozenoche than he is in a Dwayne Vermeulen, which suits the Sharks. But we've also forgotten about Siko Mozenoche. You know, everybody keeps talking about Jasper Wiese, but you know what? We've got Evan Russ, eh? And we've got Alwick Lowe coming through, hey? And we've got Pepsi Buthelezi. And Siko Mozenoche is going, chaps, I've been the form number 8 in this country for about 2 years now. Like, I personally think if he hadn't gotten injured, I would have backed Siko Mozenoche as my number 8 for the Lions series. I think he was playing that well. So he's someone, and he's not even that old. I think he's about 28 years old. So he's technically in his blooming prime. He's got such a good skill set as well. Here he is. Yeah, he's 28 years old. So Siko Mozenoche is in the prime of his life. Did get injured. So we're not really talking about him. Had to have surgery, and so that was it, you know. But you could see he was so emotional about the fact that he wanted to play in the Lions series. So it was massive for him. I don't know what his return date is. Whether we'll see, I don't think we'll see him in the outgoing tour, unfortunately. But I think he's out for the rest of the year. But hopefully he comes back next year. And I'd like to see him back in the box setup because he's a very, very good player who people have just sort of forgotten about. Jason says, I'm a Bull supporter and I'm always nervous to play Western Province purely because of our history and how upsets have been coming. Yeah, look, Western Province Bulls are always a decent game. Salman Murat is a potential future Bok captain. I agree. I'm a big Salman Murat fan. Evan has the same injury essay Pete Steph's toy had. Not as bad as they say they're going to rest him. Yeah, I'd be. I suppose it's a temptation to try and play him because if you lose this weekend, you kind of have to bang back at the end of the month. But I wouldn't risk it. Don't take risks with young players. He's got 10 years of Currie Cup ahead of him if he doesn't leave. So I hope they don't play him. I hope they just let him chill. Still can't believe the Stormers snuck into semis. I feel for Jimmy and the Pumas. Hope the Griquas can surprise and reach the finals. I wouldn't put it past the Griquas. I think the Griquas have got a side and confidence to go and do a job. I do feel for the Pumas. I said that I don't think the Western Province deserved to be in the semis. Some people disagreed and they said, look at the table. You know, that table is not particularly reflective, is it, of what's gone on throughout the Currie Cup. There's been so much disruption. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm happy. I'm happy as long as there's new faces in the squad, which brings the feeling of development. Edmund says, I don't know how to feel about the new wing signing for the Lions. Hopefully he can impress. I think he's a fantastic signing. I think Edel van der Merwe is one of the most exciting players we've announced in the last sort of 2 to 3 years. Here's the problem. If we didn't let Skortnos Kasan go out a month ago, would we have needed him in the squad? And the answer is no. There are more positions that the Lions need to strengthen than wing. So, unfortunately, I'm not that excited about Edel van der Merwe in terms of the type of signing. Obviously, the player, I think he's a fantastic player, and everybody's already sort of likened him to Ches and Colby. He's scored some fantastic tries. But it's like the Bulls signing another loose forward. Not quite. I wouldn't say our wings are that good. But to have lost Tyron Green last year, to lose Skortnos Kasan this year, and then say, here's Edel van der Merwe, feel better. No. We've got so many issues in that squad. We need to sign a hooker. Because if I have to watch PJ Buerter get another yellow card, I'm burning my Lions shirt. Where's an inside centre? If I have to watch Dan Creel try and do a Jesse Creel, despite being much smaller and not go anywhere, you know, I'm going to struggle. You know, and there's just players there that aren't good enough for the Lions, and their positions which are so there's just no depth. Lock, for example, bringing loose head. I think we need to bring a loose head in. So I'm happy with Edel van der Merwe because I think he's a fantastic signing. But for example, if you went and said we've announced Grant Williams and Kieran van Vuren, you know, I'm going to go, yeah, Yeah, you see, these are hard. Or no, like Fez and Barter. We've announced Fez and Barter. We've announced Grant Williams. We've announced Dan du Plessis or Rickus Pretorius. I'm just gonna sit there thinking, there we go. We're addressing the right positions, but we're not addressing the right positions. We need a blooming fullback. But we don't have fullbacks at the moment. Yeah, Tian Swanepoel's hopefully going to be back soon, but I think the jury's out on Tian Swanepoel, to be honest. I think he played well for 6 months, and now we're all saying we don't need a fullback. Gianni Lombard's just left. Fred Zailing played pretty well at fullback, but it's not exactly a long-term option. EW Fayun's been struggling there. And I refuse to watch Wandisile Simelane play fullback at URC. Don't do that to me. Lekanyam is one of the best defensive readers of the game. We all saw what Wandisile Simelane did to him earlier this year. Keep him at outside center. He's one of the most exciting players with ball in hand. And I know he's good. The sad thing is, Simelane is probably the best fullback of the Lions at the moment that is currently fit, which unfortunately says more about the fullbacks than it does about Simelane because it's not even his position. So I think we'll talk about the Lions now because they have announced their coaching staff. Liam Ross says the Lions don't drop their head coach. I'm going to be eating ice cream the whole URC season. Ed Barney also says Lions lock pair needs some work, maybe a new signing. Where's Tian Swanepoel, by the way? I think he's back. It's quite soon. I don't know. I think it was he did have surgery. I think he did. I think look, this is the problem. It's just so bloody. No, wait. There was a injury update the other day. Let me check my emails. Here we go. Plus minus 3 weeks ahead of return. Left ahead of return. That was on the 3rd of August. So he should be back. Here we go. I've got the entire blooming Lions thing here. So there's Manuel Rash is back. Divan Rousseau, hamstring, was supposed to be back 2 weeks ago. Is not. Should be back soon. Rudolph Smith did an AC joint injury. So cheers to him. Tian Swanepoel was fibula, so that was 3 weeks a month ago, so he should be back for URC. Willem van der Slee, shoulder 5 or 6, so he'll be touch and go. James Valencia is obviously out for the rest of the year. He's got 5 months left. That was the beginning of August. Willem Alberts had 5 weeks left, so he might be ready for the URC. Johnny Lombard, they listed Johnny Lombard saying 3 to 4 weeks ahead of return, but he's signed for Japan. So I don't know what the story is there. But I wouldn't say we broke the news because we didn't break it, but we talked about it on Monday with the Lions' new coaching staff. It has been confirmed. It was confirmed today that Ivan van Rooyen will keep his job. He will not get the sack. He will keep his job, but he will have new coaches around him after the Lions announced the following people. So Albert van den Berg will come from the Griquas and be the forwards and the Lions coach. Ricardo Loubser, who's worked with the Bulls as well as the Springboks and has been the high performance manager at SA Rugby, will become the backline attack and skills coach. And Jacques Fourie, the Lions legend, the biggest chest in the Southern Hemisphere, is back as the defense coach. This is what Lions Rugby Company CEO Rudolph Charlie said. These are exciting times for the Lions ahead of the URC competition. As we embark on our debut season in Europe, we look forward to exposing our players. They are going to be exposed, all right, and coaching staff to what will surely be a competitive environment. You're going to find out very, very quickly how competitive it is. We are particularly excited to welcome fresh ideas, experience, and value our new coach will bring to our setup as we begin preparations before jetting off in a few weeks. We wish the players and management all the best as they begin their preparations. Maybe going to need more than all their best. Australia went on to encourage the Lions faithful to back their team ahead of the Northern Hemisphere competition. It's been a challenging year, and we have taken a few learnings from this experience. We now more than ever encourage our fans and supporters to get behind their team as we prepare to face tough opposition abroad and at home. Well, I've got a deal. You start taking my team seriously. I'll start taking my team seriously. You start acting like a good union. I'll start treating you like a big union. You go and sign 3 or 4 players who are worthy signing. I'll get behind them. Obviously, I'll get behind them regardless because I like the players and I feel sorry for them. But don't come here and let all our favorite players, all our best players go, run this union into the ground, sack coaching staff who are young and inexperienced and probably shouldn't have been there in the first place or needed some more guidance, replace them, not bring in players, and then say, now we really need your support. Give us something here, chaps. Throw a dog a bone here. I'm desperate. I'll take a flipping mini bone here. Give us something to be excited about. Don't come with this we need your support now. Why must I get behind you if you're not going to take my team seriously? I've been it. I had freaking season tickets The season where the Lions didn't win a single Super Rugby game. They set the record. They did not win a Super Rugby game. I had season tickets. I didn't miss a game. Every single weekend, or every second weekend, I was at Ayers Park watching us get pumped. So don't come here and tell me I need to back my team if you are not going to deliver. Bring me players to back. Put in the coaching setup I can back. Do all of that, and you've got my support. But don't muck around and lose Tyrone Green, Marvin Ory, Malcolm Marks, Dylan Smith, Scott Son, and Alton Yankees, Johnny Lombard in the last 18 months, basically. And then tell me I need to get behind my team because we really need the support, because I know it's been tough. But I mean, nonsense. You had 3 years, 3 consecutive Super Rugby finals. You had that momentum. You had that opportunity. We were a brand that was attractive. You could sell the Lions. I mean, how are we not a bigger brand in the Western Province, in the Bulls? The Bulls have got a flipping cow. That's their mascot. That's their brand. They're walking around with blue balls and buckies. That's their mascot. That's what they've got. That's the brand they've got. And I'm not saying that I'm not criticizing the Bulls, but I'm saying that they've taken a cow with some horns and made it one of the biggest brands in the country, in the world, over the last 20 years. The Western Province, I mean, the Stormers, they've got a flipping tornado as a flipping mascot. That's their mascot. They literally don't have a physical thing. I mean, a storm. I mean, you've got flipping clouds and lightning, but they can turn that into a brand. The Sharks got a shark. Cool. How have you not managed to take the Lions, the biggest city in the country, the richest city in the country, the home of SA Rugby in terms of, you know, the history that's been at Ayers Park? We lift the World Cup there. That is your home. You've got red. Red is one of the most powerful colors in sporting terms. You know, think of the best teams in the world. Red is a really good color to have. You've got the logo, you've got the name, you've got everything that you need to build a successful brand. And we're acting like the blooming club down the road. Not buying players, letting them all go, not bringing in internationally acclaimed coaches, letting our best coach go, and then promoting within twice, and then putting out a press release saying, get behind the team. Come now. You take the Lions seriously, I'll take the Lions seriously. We're not asking to flip and sign Cheslin and Colby. We're asking not to let Tyrone Green go. We're asking not to release Alton Yankees and Johnny Lombard. We're asking to bring in local signings. You know, there are players sitting on the bench at the other unions which could walk into our starting lineup. The Sharks have got 3 scrum halves in the Springbok squad, or have been in the Springbok squad throughout the year. 3. They do not need all of them. Lionel Kinnear came out today, and I've never been the biggest Lionel Kinnear fan, but he came out today and said he's looking for a challenge. He's open to suggestions. You know, he'd love to play in the URC. He's on loan at the Sharks. He's not contracted. Sign him up. You've lost 2 fly halves. We've just got Jordan Hendrickson and Fred Zellinger. So we've just got Jordan Hendrickson. Bring in Lionel Kinnear. The Bulls have brought back Ruan Combrink, Lionel Pooh, Harold Forster, Jacques van Rooyen, and we're sitting there going, well, we'll bring back Willem Alberts, Yanni Duplessis, and Jaco Kriel. Jaco Kriel hasn't played a flipping game for us this year, I don't think. I literally don't even think he's been on the field. So don't come here with, we know it's been challenging, but we need your support. You don't get my support until you deserve it. And there's players at the Lions who I think will go on to do amazing things. Vincent Tuka, Carly Sardi, and Wanda Similani would not look out of place in a box squad right now. They would not. Jordan Henderson is a future Springbok. There are some fantastic players at the Lions, really nice characters at the Lions that you want to get behind. We will get behind, but we're doing them a disservice. You are doing your young players a disservice by telling a bunch of 22 and 23-year-olds, that was the average age when we played against the Lions, by the way. I think it was about 23 and a half. You are asking them, they've barely found their feet in professional rugby. They've barely whipped out their passport and gone overseas. And you're asking them to carry this union that made 3 Super Rugby finals, that had everything. You had flipping Emirates as your sponsor. We've got the same sponsor as Arsenal. How have we not kicked on? How have we not capitalized that? How are we sitting there? When MVM Holdings came into the country, how were they not knocking on our doors first? Why did they go to the Western Province, then the Sharks, and didn't even think about us? I'm not saying that we are for sale, but we need to be. I genuinely think, if someone wants to come in and invest money into the Lions, it's exactly what we need. The Lions owner with PG Glass and everything like that, he's been a good owner. He's been a very responsible owner, and we've had good times. We've balanced books. We need money. He needs to come. We need someone to come in with $1 billion, and I'm not saying you have to go out and sign Andre Pollard and the best players in the best paid players in the world, but flippin' sign some of the best youngsters in the country. We've already got some of them at our union. Get a good coaching staff in, make the flippin' union attractive, and bring people in. It should not be hard to market the Lions. When we did all this playing some beautiful rugby, it should have been the easiest thing to sell. It's like selling a bloody water to a man in the desert. That's what we had, and we can't do it. We literally couldn't do it. I mean, the Lions management couldn't organize a piss up in a brewery. It's really so frustrating. And it's just the small things, and I don't think we're asking much. That's the thing. I don't think as fans we're asking for a lot. We're not asking for Rock Nation. I could ask for Rock Nation. If Rock Nation wants to get involved, I'm in. I'm uncontracted. You can get involved with me. It doesn't have to be Rock Nation. It doesn't have to be some Saudi billionaire, but surely someone can come in with some money. And when they do, bring the right management and put my union back on the map. Because right now, I'm going to watch us in the URC get absolutely taken apart. And it's unfair on the players. It's unfair on the supporters. Anyway, that's probably my rant of the day. There we go. I just don't think it would be a hard thing to get right. I genuinely don't think. The Bulls turned things around in 18 months. They brought in a World Cup winning coach. They brought in a bunch of experienced players. And Jake Wise talked about the fact that he wants to raise the average playing age of the country, because he says that you need that experience, because that's when they can play, when you can cope with situations and you can cope with. That's why I think that there's a certain amount of the high scoring games, because players don't have the mentality and the experience to be able to sort of have those sort of setbacks and early tries and be able to sort of get back to your structures and stuff like that. It kind of all just falls apart. We've got to bring in more experienced players, because at the moment you are sacrificing all these youngsters and just throwing them to the wolves. You are saying, listen, you guys are talented. You guys play for Springboks, but now you're going to spend 2 or 3 years getting absolutely hammered every single weekend, because we can't be asked to protect you with better players and more experienced players and a coaching staff that can take you all the way. That's the current situation at the Lions, and it just drives me up the wall. And you know what? The coaching staff can only get better, because this Currie Cup has been probably the worst thing I've ever seen. We conceded 400 points. It was 400 points. I don't want to. Let me not lie to you. I can give you everything down to the last decimal point. We conceded. That's just tells the points difference. No. You're not getting away with that one, mate. We conceded this many points. 413. We conceded 413. The next worst was Twitter cheated with 336. That is the URC franchise that is the Lions. Jack up and sort ourselves out. Right, where were we? Lions to sign someone like Hugo Fenter. I would love to see Hugo Fenter at the Lions. I'm not a fan of Fayun. He's really not best in any position. Well, he's definitely not best at fullback. He played inside center at fly half a lot in his career. So, what do you think is the most stressful job, coaching or reffing? Probably reffing, I think. The Bulls' second choice players are better than most of the Lions players. Yeah, I mean, they've got they've pretty much got a 60-man squad at the Bulls. Stormers aren't looking good, but definitely stronger than the Lions. They've got better players. Well, they've got players in their prime. This is the problem with Lions, because I always feel bad when I look at the Lions. I think that there's some good players there, but they're so flippin' young. Is it true that Miley Box signed for the Stormers? I've seen the rumors. I haven't seen anything confirmed. Nothing's been confirmed there. The Cheetahs is higher rank than the Lions. Look, I think they're pretty much equally as bad, to be honest. Cheetahs got one more win. Conceded, far fewer points, but we go up to last Currie Cup was Super Rugby Unlocked, and the Lions. I mean, I think they've both been pretty terrible. It is weird that Warren Whiteley is a Sharks manager. Well, he did come from the Sharks originally, so we did get him from down there. But I mean, how we let him go, I don't know. Grant Swaz, I'm late to the stream. Have I missed Steve's daily rant? Well, I think you caught the back end of it. We're gonna wrap up soon. By the way, it's 10 o'clock, and I need to go have a shower because I haven't had a shower yet. So thankfully, you guys can see me and not smell me. But you're welcome. You're welcome. Springboks 2016 and 17. I was back when all the Lions players were there, and I maintain we could have done a better job if we had the right management. No, I'm not saying all the Lions players probably should have been Springboks. Ross Kinnear probably didn't have any business being a Springbok. Maybe even Andrews could see it, but there are a lot of those players that were in around there that still had big jobs to do. Same sponsors, Arsenal, same results. Yeah, pretty much. Dylan Lowe says Ernie Els should own the Lions. He's been vocal about being a Lion in the past. Look at Rupert and Motsepe at the Bulls. I mean, what's Ernie Els' blooming net worth these days? Because MVM Holdings offer Western Province $6 million. Like, come on, man. Ernie, you've got a network of 85. We're not asking for 85. We're asking for 10, 15. Become a partial share. Just buy 51%. Imagine Ernie Els as the head of the Northern Lions. Els Foundation over there. We've had the special jersey and stuff like that. We can play golf together. I'll try and sort of fix my game up. And Ernie, I've been described as the Big Easy in terms of my action, just so effortless and just so far to the right every single time I hit a ball. But apart from that, we're basically the same person. Ask Elon Musk for money. I mean, it's pocket change for Elon Musk. And he hated Pretoria because he went to Pretoria Boys. So maybe he'll try and spite them. Feel like that could be that person. Zoe Kruger is, as a Bulls fan, I understand your pain to see your side mismanaged and ruined. Don't worry, the Lions will do better when their Springboks come back. We know we've got no Springboks. It's part of the point. We should have a Springbok and Alton Yankees coming back. We could have Springboks and Malcolm Marks and Frank Mostert if they wanted to come back. I'll trip and take Kwaka Smith back tomorrow. If Rudolph Strali wants to sign any of these players, I will personally drive to flipping Europe, through Africa, pick them up and come back. Even with the current petrol prices, I will do that. I think Pepsi, the Sharks who's forward, would make an ace 8th man. You're talking about the Springboks or the Lions? Because right now I'm just taking anybody to the Lions. If Pepsi Buthelezi, if I find out his favorite color is red, if I find out that when he goes to a game reserve, he likes to look at a line, I will drive to Durban and I will convince him to come to the Lions. He can sleep in my bed at home. I will sleep outside if he wants to. Sort this rubbish out. But yeah, in terms of the box, I think he's a very good player, and I really like him. I think he is a potential box captain. What else I want to talk about? So I was talking about what did Johnny Sexton have to say? So apparently he was at Lords watching a cricket match, and they went to Wimbledon when he heard that Marcus Smith got called up. No, this is a non-story. I thought that Johnny Sexton was going to say something interesting, that he was really bleak, but unfortunately he's being very Johnny Sexton about it and saying, fair play, he deserved it. Don't be boring, Johnny. Come out and say it's bullshit. Create some drama in our lives. Yeah, that's pretty much it, really. For the evening, I've told you why the Lions just make me want to cry. The box, however, we move on with them. It's all looking good. Dave Vermeulen could be playing in 2027. You never know. Never say never. Alongside with Mornay Stay in the next Lions series. But apart from that, everybody, we will be back live on Friday night for the first super. I mean, this is SA Rugby. How have we got a Currie Cup semi-final on a Friday night? How? What have we done? What have we become? I think it's just ludicrous. But anyway, we will be live. Lakanya will be with you guys at this stage for the semi-final on Friday night, so can you come hang out with him? I will be live, probably be me for the All Blacks versus New Zealand game, as well as the Griquas versus Sharks, that one. So we'll be live this weekend. Obviously, we'll have previews coming out tomorrow. We'll have some more press conferences. We'll have John Dobson tomorrow. Hopefully try and get Jake White tomorrow as well. The cricket back tomorrow, so we've got Tim Bavuma's conference on the channel currently and stuff like that, so there's still plenty of content to come your way. Please smash like on the video. Also, hang on, before you guys go, I need you guys to do me a favor. And unfortunately, I'm probably asking the wrong people because I feel like you guys have probably already done it. But there are currently 50 people watching. Watch, by the time I get back here, they'll probably all be gone. But there are currently around 50 people watching. No, I need you. No, man, stop picking the wrong thing. You're keeping people waiting, Stephen. There we go. There we go. I need your help, people. I'm desperately trying to get Forever Rugby, our second channel, where you can find. I'll probably start uploading more of these rants to there. So, like for example, my one last night was on there. So we're going to start uploading more sort of shorter, precise clips from watch-alongs, from press conferences and stuff like that. We uploaded onto our second channel, which is called officially Forever Rugby. Now, it's currently sitting on 700 subscribers. So there is the link. There it is. I'm desperately trying to get that to 1,000 subscribers. It would be such a cool thing if I can try and get that to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the Rugby Championship, by the URC. We're trying to grow everything. You know, we're trying to make that. I don't want to overload you guys with just Forever Sports. So Forever Sports will be more the long form, full previews, full watch-alongs, this live show. Forever Sports will be a nice sort of way to just sort of catch up. If you missed a watch-along, you can go and watch the highlights. If you missed a live show, this is what Steve had to say. If you missed a press conference, this is some of the interesting parts. Clip to shorter and stuff like that. Much, much easier to consume and a little bit different. So we will be putting a lot of stuff on Forever Rugby in the coming months. We're also going to be doing sort of Forever Football. We've got some different plans for that. So we want to try and sort of diversify our content a little bit so that we're not doing always the same thing, but we want to keep on different channels. So that if you like the Forever Sports stuff, then you can just make sure you can come check out Forever Sports. But it would mean a lot to me if you guys could go and like Forever Rugby or subscribe to Forever Rugby, and we could try and get that up to 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, I mean, if I can hit 6,000, we've already hit 6,000 subscribers. I think my dream this year would be to hit 1,000 subscribers for Forever Rugby and try and hit 10K for Forever Sports. I don't think we'll get to 10K. I think we've got too much to do. I say we because it's a team effort here, people. You guys help me get there. So I'm not sure if we can get to 10K this year, but we're gonna push for 10K. And if we can, pop bottles on the stream, and we'll pop the champagne. And stuff like that. So you never know, But please do go and subscribe to Forever Rugby. If you're not subscribed to this channel, subscribe and then go to Forever Rugby and subscribe. But yeah, last couple of comments. I'm so glad SLF Super Rugby now I can watch them in the UK with no time difference. Exactly. Start the Briars. We can move. The Lions should sell most of their players and get 10 experienced players. I assume you mean experienced. Well, it depends. We can sell. Yeah, there's certain players we can sell. But if you want me to sell like Vincent Tuka or Jordan Henderson and the likes, yeah, I'm gonna cry. Johnny Sexton's the new Lions flower half. Oof, talk dirty to me. Greek was win from Louisville. I hope they win. Can't wait for the Forever Yuckskate channel. I mean, never say never. Never say never. You could be doing Forever table tennis. I play a very mean game of table tennis. If there was one sport that I reckon I could probably make it at, that would be quite high up on the list. I'm gonna give myself niche sports, I suppose. Because unfortunately, I think my days of slotting at flower half are probably over. So we'll have to find something else. Please do go smash like the video. We'll see you guys on Friday for the watch along. Well, I won't, but Lakanya will see you. Please do go and support him. He's a good laugh and knows his rugby backwards, forwards, sideways, and under and over. So yeah, keep well, keep safe, get vaccinated so I can go to Ayers Park and watch the Lions lose. And as always, see you soon.